Okay,
He
we've
was
already
just
started
here
our
10 minutes
meeting.
ago.
We've already started our meeting.
I had to figure
So-
it didn't matter.
Okay.
I started my meeting. Okay, so what I actually had the citizens to do was to write 5 things that they love about White Springs, and I'm gonna, read them in random, and it's not gonna be who said what, it's just community first, landscape,
Topography.
let's see, distance from, you and this right hand, distance from,
This is from large cities.
okay, Dover, estate cost and walkability. Small town, access to trails and water, our state park and sense of neighborhood. History, river, people. Nature, lack of people, events, state parks, cost of living. Our community and the strip we have, the beauty of nature and how fortunate we are, how we have always supported each other in our diversity, the friendship we have here. Cycling opportunity, people, paddling, and no traffic. So, since this is the forum for the citizens, I would like for, at least Scott, I'll use you as an example, come up and let me know ideas, we'll let the council know ideas that you would like to see moving forward, for this just for you.
Sure. A 10565 Kendrick Street. I mentioned in my list there about the low cost of real estate. I think it's an expensive place to live, or some of the other places in Florida. I think it makes it attractive. So where I would go with that is, I think we need to find out a way to invest in our infrastructure, the water, sewer, sidewalks, however that may happen, either through organic growth grants or private development. Those are 3 ways that I see infrastructure to be put in place. It's not, cost shouldn't all be on the city, it's not. I mean, it's hard to find folks who do work right here, it's like handyman type stuff and yard work, so. And part of that is, we live in a litigious environment, so everybody's worried about getting sued, but that's why I don't use a lot of folks. But there's a way around that, it's called worker comp exemption. So if any person is able to get a worker comp exemption certificate at the state, either construction industry or non-construction, and there's a little paperwork to it. But then when you go to a homeowner, you can do the work and the homeowner is not, on your liability insurance policies, if you don't use licensed workers and there's an accident, if something happens, you don't have liability coverage. A lot of people don't realize that. But if you use someone who's gone through the process of being a worker comp exempt person, that's a way that people could get some work, and I would be happy to use it. I would be happy to help anybody run through the paperwork, do a little seminar, like what we're doing right here, here's the paperwork, it's $125 a year, and you're good to go, and it's good for everybody. That's one idea.
So it's 125 a year, and that's.
Well, you have to incorporate it, and you make yourself an LLC, and you go through the exemption certificates, 1-page form. What else did you ask? I think some of the things I was noticing when I came over, some of the corners we've got are blind. The trees are getting low in the right of way, especially these Chinaberry trees, they sag. There's a couple of spots that I go, and I'm sure there's places I don't go where it's hard to see around corners. I try to cut as many of them as I can, and some of them, when we cut people's trees, I don't know how they feel like, tree cut in front of you. It's not my dust everything's business, but, other than that, I don't know, unless you might spark me about something else.
Let me interject real quick. You're talking about like over roadways in different areas where the trees are overgrown on the sides of the road?
Yeah, there's,
Cause I know Ray talked with Travis about, the county, cause they usually come in and cut back all that stuff. And so he's already worked that out.
I just noticed that driving over here now.
Yeah, I just learned that this morning.
And then the side, I mean, I know this costs money, but a lot of our sidewalks are all broken up, and so if someone were in our community in a wheelchair, they'd really be hampered about mobility. You know, even on 41, so that's something that I would like to see addressed, however we can do it. I know all this costs money, and you're just asking for time, this kind of idea, so that's why I give it. All right, but a lot of that cost will be on the developer or private citizens, you know. But, you know, that, I don't think, thank you, thanks for doing this, Jack.
Yes, no problem. Ms. Brazil? Do you have anything? Ms. Daniel, I can never, I'm gonna remember the next time. Would you
It's
like to
okay,
come up?
I don't take offense. I think it's something I will, but I'm just kind of curious to see what this is.
Okay. Ms. Khrys?
Can I have some questions?
We don't have any answers for you.
Be that way. Be that way. First of all, thank you for doing this. Second of all, Anita, thank you for leading us through a really difficult period of our history. And everybody, thanks for being here and for us taking this opportunity to take a breath and start again and come together for the town that we love. So, thank you. Welcome, new council members.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. I think that needs to be said, guys, because we've been jumping on them. And, you know, we've had things to jump and all of that good stuff. But I have a question in observing, because I have kind of not been real involved. I've had some health issues. But in observing, is there a way we can have different communication coming from the council? Like, I don't know, department reports, perhaps at the part of the meeting where people say, this is what we're working on, this is what we gotta do. You know, we just lost, the revenue from those internet cafes, which is huge. And so, you know, I know people are going, yay, they're gone, but by the same token, that was the fastest way to get money, and I understand that. And it created a lot of uncomfortableness for us as a community. But now, that was a lot of revenue we were getting, and we don't have that revenue coming in now. So where do we go from here? You know, I heard Scott say, these are some really great things that we need to do, but how do we do that now that we don't have that kind of revenue coming in? And then from having conversations in the community, I know one other thing that came up was, you know, the water system. And I know you guys had a grant, and then life happened, and anyway, here we are, we don't have the grant. So how do we go from here? Where do we go from here? One more question, and then you can ramble how you need to.
I might forget what I was answering.
Well, I know, so I can remember, because I might forget too. But one more question is, I hear a lot of people going, ecotourism, isn't that wonderful? And I know from conversations I've had with y'all, that really doesn't bring us, it's a great long-term goal, but it doesn't bring us revenue right away. So, those are my questions.
That's it.
Okay, so the first question about, the reports, when we have a council meeting, if you look at the agenda, it says the manager report, that's when I give my report, or you get his report, what's going on, the fire department will get their report, what's going on. That's the first thing, we do get reports on that. Second thing is on, what's the second question?
That's what I know. The second question was about the water system.
So, yes, so when we have, unfortunately, when you have the people you're trying to get the grants for working against you, it kind of shoots themselves in the foot. So we had the grant, we got approved for the grant, but now, since they've got so many calls, they're like, well, maybe we need to look into giving you the grant. So the citizens who called actually held up that water grant. We know we need that water grant. We don't have the revenue to bring in money. We don't have a couple $1 million to do that. So we worked hard to get that grant, but citizens have stopped that grant, and there's nothing we can do now, because now they have the state looking and saying, well, maybe not, because your citizens think that you can't get this. So when we apply for grants, if the citizens are fighting us, it's nothing that we can do. It's kind of like,
So how can we as the citizens help?
Well, we're still fighting, right?
well, what the citizens can do is not go against the town when we're trying to get grants for the city, for the town. If we're trying to get grants for the town to improve the water system, to improve the wastewater and everything, you can't go and write letters and saying the city is doing this to the money, stealing money, doing this to the money. Cause then the state is like, oh, well, no. So what a community can do is stop trying to fight the government that's trying to get the stuff for them.
May
That's
I,
pretty much it.
may I speak to that?
And let me say something else.
Go ahead.
Kevin is still working though, trying to get the state to work with us on how to work it out, that we can, what we can do to get this grant that we've already been approved for.
We gave them, bank reports, we gave them audit reports, and we told them that we are financially able to handle this, but when you have people just write, it's kinda like, well, you know, it's one person, one entity against 10.
Can I speak to that? And I'm gonna put myself out on the limb to everybody here. There are individuals outside of this community that have been working really, really, really hard
Right.
to cause us problems.
Yes.
And I was not aware of a Facebook page that I have been aware of, but if you follow that page, you can see mixed stuff, not your page. This is a different page, and I'm not gonna call the name, but I'm just gonna say that this individual seems to have an issue with us. And so I would ask my fellow community of citizens to, if you do have an issue, ask them. I've asked them, and they've been really open and honest with me about really hard conversations. I mean, we've had some hard conversations, and they've been open and honest. And are they perfect? No. Are they human? Yeah. But I think, well, excuse me, there's you, I forgot. But the rest of us, you know, we don't need to play into the hand of somebody that's trying to create problems. And we can work this out amongst us. I know we can. We always have. That's what got me doing this in the first place, because it's like 20 years living here, we've always been able to work this out. Even if we disagreed, we still were able to work this out. But I see, you know, we do need, you spoke to the reports that you give, maybe you can give a little more detail that help the citizens know a little bit more about what you guys are on top of. That might help. That's just a suggestion. So you talk to that, speak to ecotourism, if you will. Help me understand, how is that playing into our future? I know it's not an immediate something, but there's a lot of people here in the audience that think that's really valuable. So how do you all see that, and how does that fold into what you're trying to do in the short term with just keeping the foundation solid?
So, with ecotourism, that's not my main focus, I'm gonna admit that.
Sure.
My focus is to make sure the town of White Springs is good financially. Ecotourism, the, Bike Association don't bring any money, any revenue to, they can bring 1,000 people here. They gonna visit the Fat Village, they're gonna visit SNS, they're gonna visit anywhere. It's not gonna bring White Springs as a town down. My thing is to bring White Springs the dime, and to try to make sure that White Springs stays afloat financially. If it's something that I thought that White Springs could benefit from financially, I would be over the years. But no, ecotourism, and I'm being honest, is not my priority, because I am here for the town of White Springs as a whole. Could ecotourism help me with the water system? No, it's just entertainment for the citizens, which I don't mind, and I would like the citizens, like we have the Bicycle Association, they can do that. they can bring in the bikers, they can do all that. That's not my job, is to put on stuff for the bikers or for, even for Mayday, that ain't even me. If it don't bring any money to the town of White Springs, and I'm not talking about the S&S or Fat Bears, I'm talking about town hall where I can take some of the stuff off of y'all backs as citizens, then I'm not, that's not what I'm hired for.
So with us losing the revenue from the internet,
We lost almost $225,000.
right, so now what,
So
where,
now, we have to regroup, we're going back to the basics. This is the first time in White Springs history that they had paid firemen. No, they weren't full-time, but they were paid, they were firemen too. These people are paramedics and firefighters. They have every credential that you can ask for. They can go in there, they can't, I mean, unlike volunteers, and I love volunteers, we will still take volunteers, but all the volunteers do is hand the real firemen in the holes. We need people that can actually go do certain things, can do life-saving, things, CPR. So, we was able to give that to the citizens, we were proud to give that to the citizens, the first time that they were ever able to have people pay staff that say, okay, we're here, and they can provide these services for the town of White Springs. But yeah, we lost that revenue, so now we have to regroup. I'm glad it's close to the end of budget season, so now we can see what we can do. Do I want the town of White Springs citizens not to have a fire department? No. Do I want them to lose their fire rate? No. And what's gonna happen is, some citizens gonna think it's gonna take it out on us, and they gonna call the people, and they gonna come in and try to figure out y'all ISO rating, and all y'all gonna lose y'all insurance. But I live in Lake City, Florida, and I'm gonna have my insurance, so they're gonna try to come after me, but you hurting your own citizens.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
You are.
Yes.
Are you pointing your finger at me?
See,
Pardon?
no,
I was just asking if somebody was pointing their finger at me.
Oh.
why, wait a minute, let me
Well,
ask you
we
this,
know it was
why
her.
would you even think,
Yeah, we
number
know it
one,
was
I
I
did,
never,
I said, yeah.
I was never even thinking
Yes.
about her for
Yes,
one,
we
so
know
I don't
we-
know why you
Right,
would
and
automatically
true.
assume, unless
Start
you
the place.
did
No,
that,
no.
for you to think that. I never said anybody's name, I didn't even
No,
have.
I did,
mine.
I did it.
She did it.
I pointed at
Oh,
her.
look like I don't even know what you're talking about, and that's another thing.
I admit I did.
Blame for
Yes.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Because it's not the line.
It's not a lie,
It's
I mean,
not a
it has to
lie.
be brought out.
It is a lie.
She is
It's
the
not a
reason
lie.
that we don't have the grant we have.
okay,
We have,
Oh,
oh,
I'm so confused right now. I get blamed for us.
We're sorry, Chris, go ahead. I'm
yes,
sorry.
go ahead, darling.
No,
Go ahead.
that's not what I'm-
Yes. Let's speak.
so let me ask the council then, how do we come together? How do we come back together? How do we, there's been so much that's happened here. How do we come back together
We have to
and not do this?
fighting each
Right,
other.
but here we are fighting, so how do we
Yeah,
not
that's-
do
Look,
this?
wait a minute,
That-
we're
that-
not fighting.
That is not the
We're not
purpose
fighting.
of, that is not the purpose of the
Right.
workshop. The
Right.
purpose of the workshop was to get ideas from the citizens and to
Well,
see
that's-
where we can go and how we can.
Well, in all honesty, and the only thing I can do is be honest, is right now, your people that's still in here wanna do something. I see Scott Gay left. I mean, why? We're trying to get it all out. We're not fighting with anybody. All we're doing is working, trying to get White Springs where it need to be. So, I don't see why, we get blamed for the fight all the time, when all we're here doing is putting in the work. Even with your council, they get blamed, but your council here putting in the work. When they get, wait a minute, let me finish. When they get things, we've been accused of so many things, and I wanna get it out. Oh, they raised the water rates. We had a water study done by the Florida Rural Water that said that we was way under, and that's half of the reason. But the citizens put out, oh, they just went up there, even some, that they just went and just decided that, hey, whatever, like they not paying the water. I mean, it's so many rumors and lies out there. We're not doing the fight. We're trying to do the work. So when y'all bring the fight to us and we get on the defensive, everybody is mad because we're like, oh, wait a minute. You're not gonna talk to us like that because we actually here doing the work. We in the trenches doing everything. So you can get mad and get and leave, but we still here doing the work. And it's not fair to anybody up here to get told off, talked about, or whatever, when they here doing the work.
So how do we go forward? How do we go forward?
We have to just stop the people from fighting against
We're going
us.
forward.
Okay, but
Well,
how
they're
do we-
going forward.
We have to forgive both ways.
Yes.
I mean, and that's what my question is, how do we forgive those?
You forgive the people that don't push against us anymore. Those people, yeah, you can forgive and maybe work with them. But you cannot work with someone that you know is still out there doing harm to you. It's just
No,
not
we
gonna
keep
work.
going. We can keep going. We're gonna keep doing it.
We're gonna keep going regardless.
Maybe, you have citizens that speak to when if you hear anything, and, you can let's, like you giving this message now,
Right.
pass it on to the people, each one of us just pass it out, say, come on, let's work together, and I'm just amazed at some of the rumors I've heard about what goes on up there. From selling drugs to some of everything, I couldn't
Yes.
believe this,
Yes.
stealing money. No, I haven't seen any of that. I've been on the committee for just a couple of weeks, almost a month. And I tell you, I think they're doing an outstanding job. Yeah, we can come together, but when you got people fighting against you for the grants and this, that, everything to do, they run into the state. Like the Internet Cafe, they focus on this because of the citizens that had it shut down. Jenny's open, Jacksonville open, they all around us.
Yes.
But if they weren't doing what they're, seriously, if they weren't, you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
licensed
yeah,
them to
no.
sell oranges and they sold bananas.
Yep.
So you can't defend, that's not on you, that's on what they do.
Yeah, it
So,
is.
that would have been shut down whether the citizens,
Eventually.
maybe it got done sooner, but still. And the other thing is, guys, the citizens need to be able to.
I don't understand that one, cause I don't understand.
She's saying that what they were doing was illegal.
What were they doing that was illegal?
Well, why
I don't
didn't?
know.
The machines they had,
Okay, now, when you say the machines they had, I understand it, but if
Okay.
we have
Well,
people
no,
knocking
that's
our door
what
down
she's
trying to
about.
come back in.
That's all I'm talking about, is they got shut down because of what they
Right.
did, not because of what
But
you
we
all
do
did.
have people wanting to come in now, but nobody, I wouldn't have recommended anybody to come in because I know the same people
They're gonna do the
are
same
gonna
thing.
call the state again, whether these people are doing right or not, just because they don't want it here. And that's not fair because that was revenue for this town, good revenue.
Okay, but, so,
Me,
I just have one silly, stupid question, because I don't know.
Got to hear you, Ben.
Have we ever contacted the Seminole Indians?
you have, that's
They have
reservation,
a monopoly.
but that's
Because
because
it's
it's
a
Indian
treaty.
is part of that.
It's a part of their treaty,
Right.
it's a part of their treaty
Right.
that,
And White Springs was the original common place
It's
for
not a
all of the
reservation.
Indians to come. And they are rebuilding the Seminole Village in Park now. It got destroyed by the, Idalia last year. And they are rebuilding, the guy ended up in the hospital, so they had to hold off with, muscle, he was recovering. The Seminoles have a vested interest in White Springs. They may be amenable, especially when we say, oh, there is this elementary school that is available, that may be available for a larger casino. That might be a useful thing, I don't know.
so.
I don't know, we'd have to.
But I'm just wondering, I'm just throwing it out as a possibility for White Springs. You want
Right,
ideas?
right.
I have no idea if it's any good at all, and if it's stupid, I'm sorry.
No, it's.
No, you're fine, that's
I
wrong,
think it's
because I never
stupid,
knew
but we
that.
just have to address it, but the only thing about the Native Americans, they have a treaty. So if they came here and they don't have to give the town anything, because they have
Right.
a treaty. So they don't owe us anything, we cannot govern them because, they have a treaty, they have reservations, that's why when you go to certain areas in like Hard Rock, that's pretty much a reservation. So if they did come here, they really don't owe us anything, it's a treaty, and the only reason why they're enforcing them now, because they never should have had, any kind of simulated gambling, anything now, that's why you see them on the computers now that do Hard Rock, because the United States never, actually honor the treaty they had with the Native Americans, and now the Native Americans putting their foot down and say, oh, you gonna honor this one, in Florida, we gonna do the gambling, so that's why, but it's not, no idea is stupid. We gotta address all of them, because you know what, you may come up and there may be something, we like, oh, yeah.
And I wonder if the towns where the Hard Rock do they make any money at all, or are they totally bankrupt because of the thing? Maybe there is some money to be made, even with the,
That's a
settlement.
possibility. That's
I don't
a-
know, I am not an accountant.
No, that's something to
No,
explore.
we also know that there is a interest in Carolyn here, so let's feed it. It's legal. And they, my whole thing was, I wrote software for a living. I know how easy it is to cheat, those machines can be.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing with the gas station.
Yeah.
They say it's $3.27 a gallon. Well, oh, they change it. How do you know it's actually correct? Well, the state comes out and does random checks to make sure it's legal. Those machines are kind of the same way. Unless somebody is testing it, it's a crapshoot. You go to the inland to fill up your car, and they say, well, we'll just decide how much you're gonna pay after you fill up.
Yeah.
No, there is a reason that the government is here trying to keep some things legal. The Seminoles may have a monopoly on this, but maybe there is money to be made for White Springs too. Anyway.
Thank you.
Gamsby?
Yes, Mr. Gansby?
I don't mind if I do. Need my address?
No.
Alright. Just a couple of little things that may or may not be helpful. But I think it'd probably be a really good idea for the town to create onboarding, like documents for when a new committee or a new person comes on. So like it could outline what they have to do for Form 1. It could outline, sunshine laws and what those mean and what they mean to them. Maybe the town council could actually appoint a liaison at the time the committee is formed to help walk them through stuff. Lists of prevailing documents that are associated with them, like the town charter. I didn't even know the town charter existed until like a week after I left the zoning board. Yeah. That was a bit of a problem. So just, stuff like that, and maybe we can get some of the committees to stick if, they're walked through the process a little more.
Actually, when we had our Joel Foreman as our attorney, and when he first came on, he held a workshop like this for the council and for the committees to, just walk them through, like you're saying, how it operates and what goes on. So, as you know, we don't have an attorney, which we're working on very hard, and we hope to have some good news soon, but maybe, and then we can start that back up. Cause the attorney, I would feel more comfortable with that person being the one to hold that type of workshop.
Because I know it's extremely confusing.
Yes, and the laws change every day, so.
I'll get me started on municipal governance, and it's just not set up for accounting by screens. It's set up for people who can sign, $600,000 checks.
It's true.
Just flipping their. Anyway, that's enough. The second one was, has the town council ever considered creating volunteer opportunities that aren't tied to committees?
You mean volunteering, like what?
Give an idea.
So one of the things I thought of is, I don't know if you've ever tried digitizing the old records. So like scanning all the old ordinances and stuff and creating a spreadsheet of what they are, just have a database that laying around. Like you could, if you don't wanna pay somebody money to do that, I have a scanner, I can just come in on a Saturday and start scanning stuff. Or other people could, just ad hoc little things like that might need to get done without me having to join an entire scanning the documents committee, submitting a Form 1 and meeting monthly or whatever.
Ordinances are typically on the website, but all our ordinances too are digitalized.
They are already?
With the state of Florida. Well, actually, let me say this, only when Audrey came, they were supposed to be submitted to the state of Florida, but apparently the previous administrations, they never put those laws on the book.
In the history.
So-
We found, when we were looking, documents on the Florida Commerce site up until about 2014. And then there's
Of
just.
ordinances?
You're not gonna find anything.
ordinances, we found the most recent, not LDO, it was the comprehensive plan was up there. So we found some stuff there, but since 2014, it's just.
Yeah, it just stopped for some reason, and then up until
It
she
started
came,
in
it started
21.
back.
It started back in 21, it should have seen those quick ones, if you do a public records request with the state, we did a public records request with the state, cause we wanted all the ordinances for 2020, we have none. And people were like, well, we need an ordinance for this, so we were trying to find out, so I remember calling the state, trying to do a 119 request, even the attorney at the time, he did a 119 request, and the state says, we don't have anything. Except started in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Box and shit. So those were just the ideas I had that are more useful, but it's based on like what you guys need. Right?
True.
And obviously what the town can give, and not necessarily me, but I'm sure there's random stuff that needs to get done that
Yeah.
it's volunteers, isn't being done otherwise.
Thank you, Mr. Gamsby.
Change.
Y'all ladies have anything? Little lady?
I had an idea, well, wanted to ask about if the town ever thought about offering filming permits. Jacksonville is really blowing up. Producers and writers from Hollywood are starting with Jacksonville. We're right down the road, and if we form a partnership with the Jacksonville Film and Television Office, which I've filmed with some of those people, if we form a relationship with them, then the town could make money and commit, $200,000, easy off one movie. If the right company, sees the town, sees the location they want. And normally those people bring in their own trailers, so they won't need anywhere to stay. We can also offer and tell them like all the places in town or close to town where they can, order their food and everything, or they can bring in their own craft services, but I just wanted to bring that up.
That's a good idea.
Especially with the better historical stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of history here to tell.
Nicole, do you have anything now? Do you have anything to offer?
No, I was just, what I had wanted to say, oh, man. All I can do is walk in. Okay. What I wanted to say when the conversation was going on about how everybody can get together. All bull, I see pettiness on both sides. A lot of stuff get posted on Facebook, they get back to people when you naming names, and you can't expect people not to be upset with you when certain people put their names on Facebook and say certain things about them. If you want peace, peace gotta begin with each and every one of us. It's not gonna be, they gotta stop doing this, they gotta stop doing that, because both sides do stuff that's very juvenile and unprofessional. And that's all I want to say. If you want to change, you gotta change with yourself. You can't, just like, and not being funny, but like when you sit there and, oh, I did point at her, that was a conscious choice you made to do that, which, you understand what I'm saying? You can't not want her to react to something that
I don't care that she reacted.
No,
My
that's
point
not
was
the
to
point
let
about
her
caring.
know that I
What
know
I'm
she's
saying
caring.
is, everybody does things. If you do something, you can't get mad to a way a person counteracts to
I
the
didn't
action
get mad
that
at how
you
she
did.
counteracted.
That's not what I'm saying.
You are saying, you said I.
I'm not saying you specifically.
Are you saying that she shouldn't have
I'm
gotten mad
just
because
using
I?
that as an example. When
Okay,
you-
but your example, I'm asking you, are you saying that I can't get mad because she counteracted, or she shouldn't get mad?
What
Because
I'm
I
saying
counteracted.
is, when you pointed at her specifically and then said, oh, I pointed at her because Vanessa didn't know what you were talking,
Okay,
what
so
you
who
were talking
should have
about.
gotten mad, her or me? I'm trying
I
to
didn't say
figure out
she
what
should've got, what I'm saying is, for whatever reaction she had,
I didn't get mad about it.
it's not about you getting mad, but if you want a change, you have to be the
She
change
has
you want.
to change, she's the
But
main
you
problem.
also, you saying
Okay.
she, I'm saying we, each and
But I'm
every
telling
one.
you, let me tell you this with Beverly. This is known fact. Beverly has called the state. She's the one that ran up there, and she was there before the state even got there to close the sweepstakes. So I know she was the one called. She made it known she called. Her husband made it known to Lucas that he called on him. So they telling us that they doing it. So everybody needs to know that she's doing that, not me just saying
Nobody
that she's doing
is
it.
perfect, but what I'm saying is, if y'all want to change and truly want to put this community back together, everybody have to change their ways.
Beverly is not this community. Beverly does not live in Hamilton
Neither,
County.
well, you going over the point I'm trying to make. What I'm saying, change has to start with you,
Okay.
me, and everybody out here. If you wanna change, you cannot expect somebody to change out here if you're not gonna change up there. Everybody has been doing stuff, everybody has been doing little certain stuff, y'all, they went and did what they did, but at the same time, y'all post stuff about people. People get.
Who posts?
I don't have a.
Wait a minute, I wanna know who posts, cause my post.
When we were put on the page as crooks, that's when we
Okay.
posted
Okay.
about, and we
No,
called
but
names.
see, that was Joe
See,
did
we
it.
need to.
But I'm saying, that's when I called the names of the people that was working with
What?
them.
We're not gonna be
Listen.
confrontational, this
No,
is
we're
not
not.
what
We're
this
All I'm
is.
saying
We
is,
need to air it
if
out.
you want
Who
to change
posts?
and you want to change, I'm not gonna point fingers because.
No, we need to get
Vanessa,
out, but listen, I understand what you're saying.
I'm not gonna point the fingers, but what I'm saying, if we want to change and put this community together,
And let me tell you,
everybody
I actually
have
agree
to
with
stop
you, but
doing
what
the
you're
petty
saying-
stuff that they're doing.
Well, I agree, and what I'm saying is I agree with you, but they cannot go about the way they doing things. We gonna change, so it's like, we're supposed to change, but they gonna come
Yeah,
and
they
attack
gonna
us.
continue attacking
So,
us.
you attacked us, and then when Nita do something in response, she should change. We all, if you gonna say we all.
But Beverly
change-
is not sitting on the
But
council,
wait a minute,
neither
it
is.
does not matter,
It
because
does
we
not
are all
matter.
human, like you said. Now, when you say everybody's posting, it's a blanket. Now.
I didn't
you-
say
wait a
everybody, I
minute,
said-
when you see people posting,
Post.
I don't have a Facebook, Ray on there about his grandbaby. I don't know, Nita ain't talking about nothing but the trail ride, Jackie ain't on there. I don't even know.
I don't know,
Kids,
I
know,
got
but I'm
pictures
saying,
and
being
screenshots
honest,
of
real
certain
estate.
posts people
But
post.
when you say that, it makes people think that we're on here riding out about people, and that's not true. It gives a false narrative, it gives a false impression.
No, what I
But
have
what-
seen is certain posts, certain people
You
I'm not
see
saying,
other people post.
people screenshot posts and send them to me. I get a lot of stuff,
That's
I just
fine,
don't,
but we need
I don't
to,
feed into it, but what I'm saying, if you gonna change,
if I got a post
let
today,
the change
I'ma
begin
tell you,
within, cause you can't expect nobody else to change if you're
and
not
you
willing to
cannot expect
change.
for people to sit
And
up
you
here and
can't
talk to you
keep
like a
pointing,
dog and
what
want
they
everybody else
doing,
to be
they
nice.
doing, they doing, because
And
as
nobody
long
can
as
do
they
nothing
do
to me
and
and
you
I
do,
don't
nothing is
respond.
ever gonna change.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is, no.
And then in your position, you all supposed to take the higher road because you are the one
Baby, let me
on the
tell you
council. You are the ones that are representing everybody.
Because I represent the town. You will not. Never will anybody talk to me like a dog because I represent the town. I'm gonna do my work, but I will check you. Just like when the person sit up here and tell a lie on me, I'm not gonna sit you and tell a lie on me because I represent the town. I'm not finna go out now. If I'm doing something, it's gonna be a reaction. When you say Facebook, number one, I don't even be on Facebook. I put on Facebook real estate. That's what I put on there because that's what I do. That's where I make my money. I ain't got time for this petty stuff. Now, when you sit up here and say, well, y'all can't say nothing, if you don't say nothing, we won't say nothing. Because let me tell you something, if you bite me, I'm gonna bite you back.
Nothing is gonna change.
But
Everybody's
nothing is
gonna
gonna
see
change,
different,
so the people
going
that
back and forth,
initiate
and the town is gonna
start.
steadily become
And
more
I
and more
agree with you,
divided.
but if you initiate it, you have to, if you initiate it, number one, this guy, I'm gonna use the security company, they hired by the council. You done got them investigated only because we hired them, did we not ask them to bring the weapons that they brought?
That is correct.
Okay then, so why are we attacking them when we,
Well,
wait
ain't
a
nobody
minute,
attacking
no, I'm
them,
just
but-
using this as an example.
Okay.
The council asked them, bring the weapons,
Yes.
because we don't feel safe. So now we got them, this company getting investigated, that don't have nothing to do with them. But guess what, nobody don't understand why we don't feel safe. You know why? Because they feel safe. Baby, they don't get letters, they don't get calls, they don't get people coming to their house. People love to say, oh, it's Joe Griffin. But I tell you what, this man got a security company, he got people texting him, asking him why he guarding us, and then he asked him, you got a problem with them? Do I like them? No. Do you know them? No. Why you don't like them? I just don't like them. Do you stay in White Springs? No. We have people we don't even know about. We had an article in the paper about a White Springs person threatening the former president of the United States. So who the heck are we? Who the heck are we? So guess what? It is my responsibility, because I'm not gonna tell her husband, his wife, his granddaughter, and his children, her children or her husband, or her children, because I gotta fight Tressel, and then I'm not gonna tell his people or hers either that, oh, I failed to protect them because I took it as a game. I'd rather be safe than sorry. So we
Okay,
can
I
sit up
can
here and say
understand
we
that.
back and forth. We can go back and forth all day.
I understand that, but-
They're attacking people,
Yeah,
but you cannot start the attack, and then when these people respond, then you
Or
upset.
call you out on it.
But then when y'all are steady going back, somebody gotta learn to be the bigger
But
person.
let me tell you, baby, we got to, we
Because
don't
if you
have
don't,
no
it's
people,
just
we
gonna
gonna
be
get
it's gonna be a downfall for the town as a whole. Somebody got to grow up and say, okay, they did this, but all right, and even the Bible tells you about
But they're
forgiveness, how
not
you gonna
stopping.
forgive?
Nikki, if they would stop, that would be one thing. I could deal with that. But if you
So
keep
if
doing
they stop,
that,
you stop, correct?
right, but they're not stopping.
So
It's
then-
one thing
So are you
after
stopping?
another.
I mean, cause we're not, I'm
Let
not
me just
doing
say
on
this.
Facebook,
Okay.
but I'm just saying, somebody
If
got
they
to
stop,
be
I
the
will
bigger
stop.
person.
But if they
y'all
continue
truly
to
want
attack
this
us, I'm
town
gonna defend
together,
myself.
somebody gotta learn how to compromise.
Okay.
At this age and time, we should all know how to compromise, and y'all gotta find a common ground to compromise. Other than that, nothing is gonna go right here, and it's not gonna end up well for the town as a whole.
It
That's-
will, but those outside people don't matter.
Most of the
That's
people
the
that
whole
have a
thing.
Outside
problem,
people
they
do
live
matter,
in
because
the
you need
in
these
the
outside
White
people to
Springs.
come in town to make this town grow and flourish.
Not the ones that are making
Most of the
mistakes.
people that live in White Springs don't have an issue. You may have a fraction of maybe 7. The other people, they coming from out of town, and I let me tell you,
Well, I'm not-
people love to say, oh, I'm not gonna call, but the only way we can get it changed is say, we gotta be faithful. We got the Brazils, they don't live in town. We got whoever that was, that the guy named that's texting them, the security company. All these people don't even live in town, and they causing these issues in town. The only thing we trying to do is work for the town. But we have certain people, sometimes, even yourself sometimes, that's working against the town. It's nothing
And I
that
work
we're
with
trying
this house
to
because
do.
I feel like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
that's
feel,
like I said about the water
but
rate,
guess
and
what?
you know we had a study, cause you voted on that study.
I
Exactly.
did vote, you better check
You
the
did
video.
Yes, you
vote.
did. It
I was not here.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, this is
But
not what this is.
we
This
have
is not
more
what this is
people
not what this is
Come
about.
in. No, we wanted, you said we was gonna air our grievances.
This is not what this is about.
It ain't nobody arguing,
not
people
this
just
point, it's
talking.
gone. It has
But if
gone.
you don't get it out the air,
We
it ain't
not
gonna matter.
arguing, we're talking.
Okay, bro, that's the question.
Madam Mayor, any of the, on the committee here, whatever, give out negative stuff about the town? Do anybody spread negative stuff about the town? And when you got people outside spreading negative stuff about the town, it gets all over. It makes us look bad. I don't think nobody on council, city manager, Ray, or any of us spread any kind of negative stuff. So when we get negative stuff spread outside, I think that should be a point to most of the people on the outside. Stop bringing negative stuff. I've heard so much negative stuff about the town, which I know isn't true. But you gotta stop the people from sending negative message, not only into here, but it's all over the city of White Springs, Columbia, Hamilton County about White Springs. Because that, I don't deal with Facebook. I don't even know how to work Facebook, you know? And I don't deal, and there's so much negative stuff, and I don't feed into negative stuff. I mean, I had, before I even got on the council, the negative stuff about me personally, I don't feed into that. You can call me whatever. I know the life I live, how I enjoy life. And I'm here to make things better and to bring people together. This is what I want, ideas. This is what we should be doing. Talk about ideas, not negative stuff all the time. And I don't think nobody on the team can give out negative stuff, they just respond to negative stuff.
That's the key.
You responded to negative stuff. So stop bringing negative stuff. And like you said, a lot of outside people there are bringing negative stuff into White Springs that doesn't even live here. You know, and I've seen it, I've heard it. I mean, one of them even pointed me out, oh, I'm gonna have you arrested.
Yes.
You join the committee, I'm gonna
Yes.
have you arrested and everything.
And
Oh,
rest
you
of your
were,
life.
Rest of your life.
oh, I'm gonna rest of your life. Oh, well, what is that? You know?
Yes.
You know? I mean, I'm not perfect. Yes, I've been into some things before. Yes. But still, you don't get me up here, you can't talk about me and make me feel bad. Point blank, period. I've got a good life. I've been with the federal government, even in my off time with the federal government at Club Fair, yes. I was at Eglin Air Force Base. That was a good time. I met some outstanding people, real high-class people, talking about investment, going to college at night, you know, taking up courses, learning things. And it's a good thing. Nobody is perfect, but we don't need to just keep feeding negative stuff, negative stuff. I have people in the community, I sit out there on the bench there at the house there. All the things I hear, and I just sit there and I said, we don't need this. We don't, the town will never develop when you got separate negative people bringing it down. We lost revenue because of this talking against everything. And from what I gather, it seems like they're against everything that the people up here do. And I see them from Ray, the city manager, the mayor, the council. I don't think they want to put out anything negative about the town. All I think they're trying to do is, let's build White Spring. Let's take whatever we have and make it work. And as a community and coming together, we can do wonderful things. You know, it's a struggle now, it's a small town, but it's a beautiful town. I lived there all my life, you know, and I love it. And I'm back home, the roots. And let's just stop it. Let's stop, you know, tell the people, the outside people, stop spreading negative stuff, which I find 99.9% of it negative. And not true. So that will eliminate it point blank. If you don't have anything positive to say about the city or the town of White Spring, if you disagree about something, bring it here. You know, we don't want to disagree about negative stuff. We don't even have that involved in the full picture. We want good things, you know? If you disagree about something, or your water bill, or your light, you don't Duke Energy, you don't down Duke Energy when they put something on there. You know, come up and ask a question. You know, why is this, why is that? And we can come together. Don't get on Facebook saying, oh, Kirby's not reading the water meter, it's this, that, and other. It's negative stuff. Come up and say, hey, or call up and say, listen, can you check my meter? It's in a sensible way. It's the way you convey stuff to people. But when you come out like a shark on a fresh piece of meat, you know, but, you know, I mean, this doesn't make sense. This negative stuff going around here, we're not gonna accomplish anything when we got people here bringing this negative stuff all the time to the city of the town of White Spring. And I wish it would stop. You know, they talked about Jesus Christ. And nobody here nowhere near him. So you think, my grandmother used to say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but word, you will never get me around about word. You can call me whatever. I wouldn't care, because I know me, I love me. I got a good family unit that I'm proud to be back home. I've been in the military, working 30 years for the VA, at Club Fair. I'm glad to be home. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I love the family unity. I love how the family get together. And I wish the whole town could get together like we get together as a family. I'm proud of my family. And I'm proud of White Spring. Boy Scout, Club Scout, you know, Western October Story, Jerry Bonnet, Dr. Bonnet from my doctor. You know, so let's stop it, please. Spread the word. Anybody come up with something negative that listen, I don't wanna hear it.
That's how you stop it.
That you stop it. I don't wanna hear it. You know, you got something you wanna say, come to the meeting. And come in a sensible way.
We have 7 minutes left, so I'm gonna actually do a recap of what was discussed for tonight. Mr. Scott Gay wanted to discuss low cost for real estate, invest in infrastructure, work comp exemption, $125 a year. Maybe you have to do an LOC, and that would be for an exemption certificate. He also discussed blind spots of trees, but it was discussed by Vice Mayor Rivers that Ray spoke with Travis regarding. He also brought up the fact about the broken sidewalks, because it would not be conducive for, residents or visitors that would be in wheelchairs. Ms. Daniels had no comment tonight, Ms. Brazil had no comment tonight. Ms. Khrys, different communication from department reports, the water system, which Ms. George spoke regarding, ecotourism, which Ms. George spoke regarding. Mr. Randolph spoke regarding, the rumors being told about the council, which he just elaborated on a little. Mr. Mick, brought up the idea of maybe contacting a similar reservation for possibly casino opportunities. Mr. Gamsby, discussed creating an onboarding for committees, appoint a liaison from the council to actually help with that. Maybe also creating volunteers, for i.e. maybe scanning old documents or whatever the need would be for the city. Ms. Tay discussed filming permits and possibilities of filming, and Nicole discussed peace, amongst the council and the citizens. So with that being said, we have 5 minutes, I'm gonna adjourn, so everybody can maybe get some water before we go into our regular council meeting. Thank you for attending, and we will schedule again another, workshop. Thank you.